Good afternoon and welcome back to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at MarketSite is Gabriele Columbro, who's the Executive Director over at Fino. So we're going to focus on open source technology and how financial services is adopting. Gabriele, thank you very much for joining us at MarketSite today. And that seems to be a big hot topic now, how software is really becoming a big part of the open source world. So why technology companies are increasingly relying on open source to deliver innovation?
Well, look, long story short, it's a much more efficient way of delivering innovation. If you look about the last 15 years, all the most important pieces of innovation, whether it's cloud, NoSQL, the blockchain, came out of open source. And so really technology companies, and I come from the Valley, I guess the Italian part of the Silicon Valley, have looked at collaborating on standards and open source because that really allows them to lower costs in delivering innovative technology while basically allow them to focus on what really delivers value. We shouldn't be reinventing plumbing and commonalities, and this is something that technology companies have learned by going to the cloud.
Right, so now Fino stands for FinTech Open Source Foundation. You're bringing that approach to Wall Street, so it's kind of the intersection of Wall Street, financial services, technology, and all the FinTech.
Yes, well, we started really backed by sort of the largest financial banks in Wall Street, and we have soon realized that there was a much broader opportunity to bring together, the large sort of sell-side and buy-side firms with more the up-and-coming FinTech, that are driving a lot of this innovation. And open source, if you think about, the lower margins, the sort of higher cost of regulation, it really provides a much better way of sort of bridging these two worlds, the sort of traditionally siloed world of financial banking and actually the new fintechs that are bringing in this innovation. And so we think that this is a great way for Wall Street to really produce innovation.
Well, it makes sense, open source. It sounds like inclusion where you have the large banks, the small banks. So why is FINOS needed, and how are you getting this traditional siloed industry to collaborate? It's one thing to have open source, but how do you make everyone work together?
Absolutely, and open source seems, as you say, nice, open, but it's not easy. It takes a whole lot of cultural change, it takes a whole lot of governance, and most importantly, it takes a whole lot of trust in between the different players. And so again, this is a very traditionally competitive and siloed industry, but it's important to understand that many companies are trying really to solve the same problems. And so by providing an independent, trusted, non-profit, we are an IRS 501c6 non-profit foundation, and a forum for this organization to sort of trust us and trust each other, we really think we can hold this industry. And again, not just the large firms, even the smaller fintechs, we think that's a massive opportunity for them to really put their technology in front of decision makers, senior technologists, and very much the developers, the grassroots that ultimately needs to buy into the new technology.
Well, to wrap up, what other opportunities for collaboration do you see beyond FINOS going forward?
Well, obviously we have a lot of focus right now on capital markets technologies, trading technologies, that's sort of our background. But again, the idea of having this sort of collective ownership, trusted collective ownership, it's something that really very well applies, to new words like blockchain and sort of decentralized technologies. So whilst we don't have a program on initiative on blockchain right now, we certainly are looking to provide, again, this independent place where, many of the large firms and many of the up-and-coming blockchain could really be bridged together. And I think that's also a big generational aspects there. As you know, the new technologies are coming in with, desire to make an impact, desire to sort of give back to the community. And I think FINOS can provide that structure and that trusted forum.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us at MarketSite.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.